All right. All right. Monday night. Welcome, everybody, to Bring It. We are live on the air. Amazing weekend in sports. So much happening. Opening day weekend. The NCAA Final Four happened with the epic shot Saturday night. I don't know about you guys, but I jumped out of my seat when I saw that. That was just incredible. Great classic game for you guys. Let's welcome in the crew. Ray is back. What's up, Ray?
What's up? How you doing? Ready to get it on?
Good to see you. Andrew is back with representing the Jets jersey tonight, of course. Got the video.
Yes, it's a new era again. Best time in 10 years.
Again, and friend representing Philly, the 3-0 Phillies. Felix in the house.
Too hot in here.
Who's on the back of that? Whose jersey is that? Holiday, very nice.
All right, there you go. Right. Nice, like Roy Holiday. That's a good one.
I like it. What year is that from?
I believe it's his first year with the team. So, what was that? 14, maybe something like that.
Yeah,
maybe something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was, great player. So sad when he passed away. So that's a nice little tribute too. Definitely. Yeah. All right, well, let's get started here. I want to talk about the final tonight. The Final Four was Saturday. The NCAA men's final is tonight. We're going to talk about that a little bit. The first game, Baylor and Houston, was just a dud. Baylor just crushed them. But the second game was one for the books, definitely. Even if you're not a college basketball fan, if you're just a basketball fan, you had to have loved that game. So, Ray, let's start with you, man. Were you watching it? What were you feeling throughout the whole game?
Well, actually, I got a different perspective. I listened to it all the way on the radio coming back from North Carolina. So I didn't actually get to see the visual. I got to hear it. So the audio was actually kind of the guy who was broadcasting it. He was actually setting the game up all the way up to that final shot. Mm-hmm. And when the guy hit the final shot, the announcer almost blew his top off on the audio. I mean, he almost lost it. He knocked over water, everything on his table. So, I mean, that shot was awesome, the way they were describing, the way they were bringing up all the way up to that final play. So, if you listen to the audio, not seeing the actual visual of it, it's more spectacular than you actually watching it.
Yeah, no, I heard the Westwood One call, which was crazy. And I don't know if anyone ever heard the Gonzaga's call. I don't know if anyone's heard the audio of that, but Adam Morrison, former Gonzaga player, was doing the color, and he's losing it on the air. It's crazy. You got to check that out. Andrew, were you able to check out the game at all, or what's your vibe?
I saw the highlights. And when I saw the shot for the first time, my mouth hit the floor. Like, just taking it the full length of the court. What was it, about 35, 38 footer?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
It was just it was a miracle, and it just it's meant to be. With the way that they came into this undefeated, and now they're going to the championship game. It was a godsend of a shot.
Exactly. The basketball gods were looking upon Gonzaga. So now, Felix, a couple years ago, Villanova hit that winning shot to win the championship. So, I mean, where does this shot rank as far as like game-winning tournament shots? I mean, obviously it wasn't for the championship, but 40 feet out is off and calling bank, pretty epic, you have to admit.
Yeah, everyone's saying it's one of the best shots ever. So, even though it's not a chip game shot, but it's one of the best. Can't go wrong with that. I mean, they were meant to go. I mean, it was a great shot, but I think they're mentally drained after the way UCLA played them. They weren't expecting all that.
No, that is definitely true. They were saying that because they played the second game and it went into overtime and the intensity of the game, how tired they might be tonight. And it was actually a stat that ESPN put up that the number one and number two ranked teams play in the championship game, the number twos have won every game, which is an interesting stat. So, but I'm still going with Gonzaga tonight. So just everyone give me a quick prediction. Is Gonzaga's they're gonna go undefeated, or is Baylor gonna win this thing tonight? What do we say? Anybody just jump in.
I think it just, in some ways, they might have won their championship the other night. will they be able to carry that momentum, that peak? Even winning the championship in some ways, is it going to be a better feeling than what they felt the other night with all of that excitement? So it's going to, it might be hard for them to, carry that momentum and, be able to start fresh, as if it didn't even happen, and play a whole new game. But if they can carry that momentum on the other end, then yeah, it's all in their favor.
All right. So I don't know if that's a Gonzaga pick or not, but well, we'll go with that. What about you, Ray?
I'm going with Baylor 85-84.
Ooh. So covering the 4.5 and winning outright.
Yep.
All right, Felix, what about you?
Yeah, and like I said, I think the Zags are mentally drained after that. That was the toughest game they had all year. I'm going to say 80-74 Baylor.
All right, but we have high scoring games. I think the over under is 159. So it sounds like everyone's definitely what? Is it 159 or 169?
Oh, it's 160.
No.
Yeah, it's 160.
Total.
Okay,
160 is total.
All right, so we might go over the total. You never know about that. I think it's going to be a good game. I think Gonzaga needed this game. They needed a close game. I think they needed to have a little stress in this tournament because they really haven't had it all year. And I think they're going to win this thing. It might be close, but they're definitely going to win this thing. So huge news out of the NFL today. Sam Darnold has been traded. And to me, it looks like the Jets basically traded him for a bag of peanuts, if you ask me. I mean, a 6th-round pick, and then a second next year, a third, or a third and a fourth, something like that. Andrew, the resident Jet fan, say goodbye to Sam Darnold and say hello to your new quarterback.
Well, so the most frustrating thing to me about this deal is just knowing that we drafted him with the 3rd pick only a few years ago. And then getting what we got for essentially a 3rd pick. They would never make that trade prior to drafting him. So that's one part that bothers me. The other part that's bothering me is obviously they're setting themselves up to draft, what's his name? Zach Wilson, in my opinion. They're going to go with Wilson. But they're going to just run the same mistake all over again. They've made this. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. How before it was Darnold, it was Geno Smith, and before it was Geno Smith, it was Mark Sanchez. Then before that, it was Clemens. Before that, it was Pennington. They don't give their rookies quarterbacks the clipboard. A lot of teams don't, but the Jets especially, they draft top 10 pick, and they've been using this. Will be one of the first times that a team is going to end up using a top 3 pick in the last 4 years on a quarterback.
Yeah,
twice.
It's crazy. It's crazy
to just go through it all over again. And who's going to mentor him? Who's to say Zach Wilson is going to be in any better of a position to take over this team right out the gate than Darnold would have been?
Right.
They just gave up too early, but he also they didn't train him properly. They didn't treat him well. They probably damaged his career just in the exact same way as they did Geno Smith's.
Oh, definitely not. So Ray, do you think so with him going to Carolina now, is he going to challenge Teddy Bridgewater for that starting job, or do you think that job is still Teddy Bridgewater's?
Well, the reports coming out of Carolina right now is that they're looking to restructure Bridgewater's contract. If they can't restructure it, they're looking to trade him. So, but see, this whole ordeal came behind because of the Carolina Panthers head coach Rule, who interviewed for the Jets job. He liked Sam Donaldson, so that's why they made this trade.
Well, I also wondered today, who's the Panthers' number 1 primary receiver?
They lost Samuel. Samuel went to Redskins. So
yeah, but right now it's Anderson.
Yeah.
And who did Anderson play with before he went to Carolina?
The Jets.
Yeah. So any success that Darnold had or Anderson had was as a Jet was together. So it's uniting them. They know.
Let me give you a quick history lesson. Rule came from Temple University. Robbie Anderson came from Temple University. So that's where they all know each other. There's a bunch of Temple grads on Carolina's team.
And just like I said, that Rule went to interview for the Jets job before he went took the Panthers job. So he really liked Sam when he went up there for that interview. So I mean, like I said, they traded him. They traded him for like a bag of peanuts.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm curious to know what other offers they had to end up taking this offer.
Well, if you look at it, the way Donaldson's been, way he played last year and stuff in the last 2 years, you weren't gonna get a big draft pick for him.
No, I agree.
You weren't gonna get what they were hoping they were trying to get. There's no way.
You gotta wonder if this was the best out there.
This is the Plan C option. Plan A and B didn't work, so this is Plan C.
So do you think now this may even open up the door to trade that pick? And you know, I don't know where everyone here, or every team, all the managers, everyone stands on Deshaun Watson right now with all of his allegations off the field. But it's just maybe opening up the door just a little further to trade that pick and go get Deshaun Watson, or maybe even try to get Wilson if it's even a possibility.
That could open the door for Wilson, but I don't see nobody's going after Deshaun Watson until all these allegations get cleared up. I just point blank. I wouldn't go after, you don't know what's going on with these allegations. You don't know if these allegations were just trumped up or somebody trying to get a payday from them or what. But as these allegations set forth, these things don't get cleared up. I don't see Deshaun Watson leaving Texans. I think he'd be sitting out for a year.
Probably. What about you, Felix? Why don't you chime in on this?
All right. So I got 2 points with the Jets, okay? First of all, you never draft a USC quarterback. It's just proven fact. The best one that came out of school was Carson Palmer, and he sucked. I mean, you could say Mark Sanchez, but what's he famous for? The butt fumble? Come on.
Yeah.
So that being said, I would have never drafted him to begin with, but that's the Jets motto. But the positive news in this is they still got a second-round pick. Think about that. Look what the Eagles got for Wentz. Okay. Right. They got a comp second, which could be a first. So think about what they got for Darnold real quick. And Wentz is better than Darnold. Can we agree with that?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So think about that. And when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017, 41-33, we had Joe Douglas as our GM, co-GM. He's with the Jets now. I have full faith in him just because he brought me my only chip. That being said, I don't think drafting a quarterback right now should be their number one priority because they need everything. But they're doing it right by getting picks, just like the Eagles are doing it right now. They're getting more picks. The more picks you get, the more players you hit on, the better your team gets, and so forth. So I have faith in the Jets. It's just now it's to a point where they have to hit on the picks.
You know, it's interesting. I took a look back to see who else went in that 2018 draft after Darnold. Do you want to hear some of these names?
Go ahead.
All right. I'll save the best one for last. But immediately 2 picks after was Bradley Chubb. That would have been a nice addition.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, they passed up on.
Yep.
They let's see who else. We have Calvin Ridley. They passed up on, but he was later on in the draft, so I could see why they wouldn't take him so high up. But
are you sure Josh Allen went on that draft? I thought he got drafted after Baker.
Josh Allen was drafted with the 7th pick in 2018.
I thought that he was drafted when Baker got drafted. I might be wrong though.
Yeah, 7th pick, but the best one. I see. You guys might even know this. The last pick of the first round 2018 draft. Anyone take a shot?
That was Lamar Jackson.
That was Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. That was the Eagles pick that they traded.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's not even looking at the second rounders, but you know, there's 4 or 5 guys right there that listen. Everyone messed up. I mean, you can talk about Hayden Hurst, DJ Moore. There's a whole list of names. Minka Fitzpatrick as well, but so many names that you know they took Darnold probably because of the pressure to draft a quarterback, but they didn't even get that right. And I would have rather had Josh Rosen.
Well, that's saying something if you'd rather have Josh Rosen than him. Wow.
But you also
That
have
is
to
crazy.
realize the situation they were put in. Like the Jets were a dumpster fire before he got there.
Yeah, I agree.
So I mean, there's only so much one player could do.
Agreed. And again, he just like with Geno Smith, if he had been given the clipboard, and I believe, well, Fitzpatrick was still there, I believe. They also had what's his name? He's retired. He played for like 15 teams. Quarterback. I can't. He finished with
McCown.
McCown.
Right.
All Darnold needed to do was sit there with a clipboard for a year and learn from one of these guys, and it would have made a world of difference. But the Jets were always in a win now mentality. Yet they haven't had a win now team for at least 7-8 years. Best Jets team, most recent to me, goes back to maybe the 2010, 2011 years when they had their battle with the Bengals in the fighting for the playoffs.
Right.
That's a decade ago.
But that being said, how many quarterbacks do you see sitting with a clipboard? Those days are over. Those days with McNabb sitting the first year learning, and those days are done. If you're drafted, they want you out there.
Agreed. Yep. And look how short these guys. I mean, for one out of let's say 20 quarterbacks, how many of them actually turn out to be something special? There's been more busts. You can even go back to just talking about Manziel. I mean, a lot of people argue he was a bust coming out of college, but who knows what would have happened? Cleveland drafted him, ready to hand him over the team. Maybe Mayfield was handed the team too early, although he had a good year this past year. Teams are hoping to hit the lottery right out the gate rather than wait. And then look, it paid off for the Packers with Rodgers.
And it paid off for the Chiefs with Mahomes. He sidelined,
Alex
Smith for a year. So, but I mean, and here's a question, and it poses the question: now we're saying, the Jets could have had, this guy or that guy. Is it the system that makes the player, or does the player make the system? Because if Darnold plays for Buffalo and Josh Allen plays for the Jets, is it the same or is it different? Is it the skill set or is it the system? That's always been a big question for everybody.
I think it's all the above. I mean, listen, his first play from the line of scrimmage was an interception.
Right.
He got destroyed by the media ever since then. And that definitely takes a mental toll on a starting quarterback. And I think there were a lot of people rooting against him. I think there were a lot of people who didn't necessarily think that he was ready. They were unhappy about how Geno Smith went. I think that they felt that, is he just going to be Geno Smith all over again? And just like how, even now with Zach Wilson, it might be Sam Darnold all over again.
You hope not, because you hate to see an organization flailing for years and years and years. And it just seems like that there are certain organizations that do that year after year. They just can't get it right. Exactly right. Exactly. I mean, we all root for teams that are in a very frustrating position right now, and it's definitely hard to watch our franchises, fail over and over again and keep trying. New coach every 2-3 years, new quarterback every 2-3 years. It's difficult, and it makes you wonder why. There are certain teams, it's the same teams every year or the same players every year. It's a crazy league. So we will definitely see what this offseason brings for sure.
As a Giants fan, do you think that this is the year that the organization finally woke up, realized that they were going to waste Barkley's best years, and let's surround him with the best that we can, and let's try to win now?
I mean, I hope so. On paper, it looks like that. But, I don't have faith in Jones at all as a quarterback. I mean, that division is the weakest division in football, the NFC East right now. All the teams are weak. The Eagles are starting over, as we see. The Redskins don't have a definitive starter. I mean, Fitzpatrick is their starter. I mean, come on. The Cowboys can go hot and cold every week. So, it's anybody's game right there. But do I want to go into the playoffs 8-8, losing the first round? No, but we'll see what happens. Who the hell knows? All right, let's move on to baseball, because it's baseball season. Opening weekend was this weekend. There were definitely some surprises, some predictability. The Phillies went out and swept the Braves. You know, they shut down. They shut down your nemesis Acuna Jr. Did not have a good weekend at all.
Thank God.
So that was sweet. So you know, talk about what you saw in the Phillies this opening weekend, Felix. And you know, was it just an opening weekend, or do you think this could be something all of a sudden?
So the Phillies always start off hot. Every year they start off hot, and then they hit this bump in the road where they get ice cold. And but I didn't expect. No one expected them to sweep. The pitching was outstanding. Wheeler, Zach Eflin, they showed that they had better stuff than Nola. But Nola gave it. Our bullpen was damn near shut down. That guy we got from Tampa, his name is slipping me from the bullpen. His name's slipping me, but he has some good stuff. He's going to be our closer. Neris actually pitched out of an inning for the first time in a year, and you know, I couldn't be more excited. But again, we always start off hot.
I like Neris,
and the Braves always catch up.
Right. Well, I know one of the games they won on a walk-off, right?
Yeah.
The
Gene Segura, yeah.
Right, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. So Ray, you're a Braves fan. So go to the opposite end of it. The Braves, who are predicted, you know, to come out of the gate strong, end up getting swept in Philly for the first weekend. Is there anything to panic off the bat, or is it just first weekend? Don't worry about it. They'll figure it out.
See, I've been a Braves fan since I was growing up. I mean, I can go all the way back to 10 years old. Braves never start off hot. They never start off hot, and they never start off winning. The Braves are a team that they like to fill you out the first month and a half. After that month and a half, then they start getting everything rolling. But you coming in the opening day. You know, I had the Braves going 1-3 in the first series, not 0-3. I had them going 1-3. Because I looked at the matchup here and there, but that first game was all that wind, and if the stadium wasn't that windy, the Braves could have easily won that first game. I mean, because all the key hits were right there down the line, third base, and they made good plays on them. You got to tip your hats off to the Phillies; they made good plays, and that fourth game was just a complete disaster for the Braves. They only got one hit out of 9 innings. I mean, the guy, I don't even know why they pulled the guy. The guy wasn't even getting in trouble. They only had one base runner the whole game.
Right.
They had Wheeler didn't have no walks. They only allowed one hit. He pitched 7 2/3 inning. I mean, they could have let him go and complete a complete game. I mean,
and RBI.
Yeah, I mean, he could have gone. I mean, look, they could have gone a complete game because the one runner got to first base. That's it.
Analytics won't let them finish games anymore.
No, but I mean, if you look at it though, that fourth game was 4-0, and Braves only got one hit in 9 innings.
Right.
And I mean, and your best player is not really hitting that ball, not really hitting that good yet.
Fun fact
that
I heard over the radio, Phillies broadcast network. This was the first series Freddie Freeman didn't get a hit in a series against the Phillies.
Yep.
Wow.
But you got to understand Freeman's thing too. He didn't go to spring training that much. I mean, the first 5 weeks of spring training, he didn't go because he had his kid. So I mean, he's still in the spring training mode. You know, he's not in regular season mode yet. He's still in that preseason mode because of the baby and all that. So I'll take it. I don't care. I'll take it. Look at it this way. If you look at the Braves' history, Braves never start off good, but they finish strong. You know,
right.
So it's no panic here because I know how the Braves are. And I know how the Braves come out and play, and I know the thinking, and I know the general manager who puts the team together and knows when to make the right move, and the manager and stuff like that. So right now it's not a panic mode. I mean, we got this is like the 3 games. Braves got to postpone tonight. They playing tomorrow against Nationals, and they got a double hitter the next day to finish at the 3-game series in first home series. So, it's crazy.
That is
fact. real quick. I'm sorry. This just hit. I just remember this. It's a funny moment. When I was younger, I went to a Phillies game at the Vet, and the Braves were in town, and this one Braves player, I was yelling at him. And he snapped the finger at me, and I don't want to. Can you just? He was an outfielder. Can you take a guess real quick?
Braves outfielder when you were a kid?
In the 90s. In the 90s. Yeah.
90s. David Justice.
Like no, it wasn't. It wasn't. Even though you could. It could be, but
McGriff.
No.
Ron Gantz.
No.
Jones.
No.
Andrew Jones.
Well, once I tell you who it is, you're gonna be like, okay, I see.
Claudell Washington.
Who was it?
Mr. Ryan Klesko.
Oh, Klesko. Yeah, he went from outfield to first base.
Yeah.
Well, he gave it to me in the outfield.
All right. Well, so there's no bitterness there, right? None whatsoever.
No. I hate him the same now as he did when he gave it to me. It is what it is.
All right. Well, Andrew, what's your take on the opening weekend? And then I want you to segue because you and Ray weren't in last week for the baseball predictions. So talk about the opening weekend and give us your predictions.
Well, let's see. Obviously, to me, one of the best moments was Cabrera's sliding into second home run in the blizzard. That was the best.
That was
awesome. The Chicago rookie Mercedes, starting out the season off 8 for 8. That's been nice. It's been a huge surprise. When we talked about the White Sox a couple weeks ago, he wasn't even on anyone's radar that we spoke about.
Right.
That's been a nice surprise. We spoke about the Blue Jays a couple weeks ago. They pretty much manhandled the Yankees during the opening series. I'm a little bummed I don't get to talk about the Mets during this show. So as a Mets fan, that's a little upsetting to me.
Yeah.
I will talk. One of my other teams, believe it or not, is the Red Sox. And after watching them yesterday, I was just disgusted. I don't know if you guys saw what happened in Boston yesterday, but Baltimore went up 10-0 by the third inning. It was horrendous, and you got a team of Bogarts and Devers and JD Martinez, but their pitching is just so weak this year that they're going to be in for a struggle.
Oh yeah.
Well,
meanwhile, the Baltimore's down 6-0 in the sixth to the Yankees tonight.
And
there you go.
Red Sox up 3-0 against Tampa in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, it's so hard to talk when you're one weekend in. I was looking at my fantasy team and I was looking at available player. Always trying to make some moves. It's just so hard to pick up or drop anyone based off of a slow weekend or a hot weekend because the season's 162 games. I mean, I think Trout is ranked in the hundreds right now. Once he hits his first home run, he's going to be top 10.
Oh, forget it.
These numbers are so padded in both ways. It's so hard to make, prediction off of an opening day weekend. You can just talk about the moments, and there have been some great ones.
Right.
Well, Mercedes, and what's his name who had that grand slam, that rookie? What's this guy I never heard of?
I can't remember this guy's name, but I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Akil Baddoo. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Akil Baddoo had a home run in his first game and a grand slam in his second game. So we had two new names that no one heard of last year. Now they're the talk of baseball this week. So that's pretty cool. Exactly.
I just have one little thing I want to talk about before we get to you guys to the predictions we didn't hear last week. I don't know if anybody caught the Angels and White Sox last night, but I want to talk about Ohtani and what he accomplished. He was the first American League pitcher to hit a home run since the DH rule was instituted. Pitched 4 2/3, and unfortunately got taken out of the game because of a slide because he got spiked on that slide. But what was interesting, and this I blame analytics, and it just pains me more to watch Sunday Night Baseball with Alex Rodriguez. I despise Alex Rodriguez. You don't even know. In the fourth inning, he was getting into a little trouble, going up a couple runs. And they kept on saying, they're going to take him out. And A-Rod just kept pounding away. Madden's going to take him out. He's going to follow the analytics, take him out. And there was a point where I basically yelled at the television, like, shh, like, shut the up, A-Rod. Like, it was just so ridiculous that they're just, just let these guys pitch. Let them pitch out of trouble. It's only the 4th inning. Give him a chance. Ohtani wasn't throwing bad. He just had a little trouble in an inning. I mean, come on. So, but it's going to be interesting to watch his progress pitching and hitting all year long in the American League, if you ask me. So, All right. So, Andrew, just give us your predictions quickly from that we missed last week.
I still think the team to beat this year is the Dodgers in the National League, and I'm going to stick with the White Sox, where we spoke about 2 weeks ago, but I still think the Dodgers are the team to beat across baseball. They're just so stacked on both ends. They're top to bottom in the lineup. They have so much depth through their starters and through their bullpen. They're just incredible on paper, at least. They're 3-1 right now. Not that means much one weekend in, but my prediction is the Dodgers.
All right, cool. Now, Ray, what were your predictions?
I got the Braves in the National League, coming out of the National League against the Yankees in the American League, and I got the Braves winning in 6.
Ooh, all right. A replay of 1996 then.
Yep.
Very nice, very nice. All right, well, the other baseball point I want to talk about is this, in my opinion, this stupid 10th inning rule. This thing is so stupid. There were 4 games on opening day. I thought it was 3. Then I did some more research. It was 4 games decided by this 10th inning rule. I mean, it's bad baseball. I mean, it's not baseball. I mean, I remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about this in the baseball show, and Felix said it's like T-ball. It's like it's ridiculous. I mean, we're all old school baseball guys here. So I mean, is this rule even going to last? I mean, I can't see them changing it during the season, but after this season, I think they got to rethink this rule. I mean, Felix, what do you think?
So you're telling me if they rethink this rule, the team that wins the World Series this year based off this rule, there should be an asterisk by the World Series?
No, I mean, there won't be if that was the case, it'd be an asterisk last year with the Dodgers, right?
Well, I mean, this is the first year they're implementing the 10th inning rule, right?
They did it last year.
Did it last. So,
this is the COVID rule.
The COVID rule.
Right.
This is the COVID rule.
Well, the Dodgers should have had an asterisk by it anyway. They only played 60 games.
Right.
But this would be the first full year of it. So
right.
I mean, I guess they want to end the game faster, but like I could give you an example. The game 2 for the Phillies, it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes. Perfect. Wasn't too long. Game kept moving, kept your attention going. It wasn't nothing like, oh my God, this thing's dragging. But again, there weren't that many hits. Like the game went under. You know what I mean? So
right.
The more hits, the more base runners, the more time being spent. And that's, just like football. What do we love? We love points.
Right.
So that's what keeps our attention. But I hate the rule. But if the pitchers could get into a rhythm and just keep going, I know it's tough. I mean, you're throwing 80 to 100 pitches plus, within 20, 30 seconds of each pitch. I know it's tough, but I mean, there has to be something put into place where, like, I could sit at a game for 4 hours. I don't care. You know what I mean? I paid my due. I'll after COVID, I'll sit 6 hours. I don't care.
Right.
But I know what people say when it's just dragging and it's crazy. But again, I don't agree with that rule at all.
Right, but to me, it's not dragging because I mean, when you get into extra innings, I mean, that's when it's truly exciting because it's like anything can happen anytime, any spot. But if you're already given even the road team a leg up, okay, the road team scores, they get the run in. Okay, now they're up by 1. Now the home team gets a chance, but who knows but the thing is, I think the road team does have a little bit of an advantage, and I'll say this why. Because if they didn't use their closer in the 9th, they can now bring their closer in the bottom of the 10th if they score that top run. So, I mean, on the other hand, if the road team doesn't score and the home team scores, one pitch and the game can be over. I mean, Andrew, is this rule going to stick? I mean, do you even like watching the rule? Can you get excited over a win by this rule? I mean, what do you think?
So it can be argued on both sides. I'll start with the fan side first, not the historian side. I think it adds a level of sudden death excitement to the average fan. After not 9 long innings, it just puts a little bit more pressure on each team to kind of wrap it up. But I will say that it should not start if they're going to look to start to speed the game up, it shouldn't start in extra innings. Both teams fought it out. Let them play the same way that they played the first 9 innings. There's other ways that they should try to speed the game up. One thing I always thought the most simple way is if a pitcher wants to intentionally walk a batter, don't throw 4 pitches. Throw one as an intentional pitch to walk and let the guy take his base. That's one way. All these instant replays now, that's slowing down the game way more than not starting this batter at second base. So from a historian's perspective, it definitely ruins a sport that's been around for more than a century. And you can also compare it to what happened in football when they got rid or not got rid of, but they moved the extra point back to where they did. To try to implement more 2-point conversion opportunities. And why did they do that? To try to add some more excitement and to also make teams think about, oh, you know what? If I got to kick a 30-yard extra point, maybe it's worth trying to take this 2-point conversion, which is what fans want to see anyway. Fans don't want to see a guy kick a 17-yard extra point. You might as well just give them the 7 points and say that. So this thing could be debated on both sides. And I think I was watching the Yankee game the other day, and Michael Kay was talking about this isn't necessarily what baseball wanted. It's that both sides could not come to terms on it. And I think the vote was pretty much split down the middle, and it needed a vote to overrule last year's rule of this being put into place. So it's pretty much, from what I heard, it's not necessarily what baseball wants or doesn't want. So I have no idea if it's here to stay. I think that it should not have played through just because of COVID, because the stadium's open, the fans are there. Let it be normal.
Right. No, I agree. The one thing though with the walk rule, they do have the intentional pass rule now, where the manager can just signal walk them, so they don't have to throw the 4 pitches anymore.
Okay,
they do have that rule now, so that saves a minute, which is good. But no, Ray. So you're an old school guy like me. I mean, what do you? I mean, I know I'm sure you don't like this rule, but it's just like, what can they do?
Well, I don't like the rule because I've been to a lot of games. I've been to a lot of Braves games. I've been to a lot of when I was in the Navy, we went to the Braves and Dodgers game in Dodger Stadium. Mm-hmm. The first game of that series went 21 innings before Ryan Klesko hit a home run to win the game. But I like extra inning games. I like the way the extra inning goes, because if you're going to put up a runner on second base, to me that's like Little League. That's what Little League does. I mean, they're professional baseball players. Let them play the game. Let them play the game all the way out. Let them go to the extra innings. Because now you're taking away from, the managers of managing the games in the extra innings. It takes away from a lot of baseball, old school baseball. It takes away from that. And me playing baseball in high school, going to extra innings, it always made us fight harder going into extra innings. Come back and win the game and watch the other team get deflated. You play all these games and then you get it. But like the Dodgers, the Braves and the Phillies game, 10th inning, we played that extra in 10th inning to put them on that. Bryce Harper was the automatic runner, But to me, it makes it less fair. If you're on the losing end, it makes it less fair, and the people on the winning end, gets a little bit. Okay, yeah, we got a little help, get this situation. But you talking about old school baseball. Why are they changing the rules a bit, in a game of baseball that they played so long? I mean, we played over 100 years of baseball the same way. Why are they tweaking it? Because the games are now some of the games are going 3 to 4 to 5, 6 hours long. To me, I don't like the rule. I think it's bad about baseball. And changing, I understand the change is trying to make it shorten the game up. Like you say, the manager can now, if you want to intentionally walk, you can just tell them to intentionally walk them. I can understand that. Less replays. when you go to commercial breaks between innings, that's when you go and look at the replay. At certain things. And now, if you got a base runner and you got to look at the replay like that because of the base runners, yeah, you can do it right then. But like other stuff, like the scoring stuff, they can do between innings and stuff like that. Even put like a shot clock type deal in between innings and pitchers. When you bring in a new reliever, if he's been warming up in that bullpen for 15, for about a few minutes, have him come in and throw 4 pitches and get the instead of having them come in and throw 10 pitches, to get them ready for between the, you can shorten that. That's the way you can shorten up games. There's a lot of other things you can shorten up, but you're taking away from baseball when you go into extra inning and putting somebody starting at, I can understand if it was like the 14th or 15th inning, you do that. Yeah, I understand that, but not the 10th inning. Come on now.
I remember I forget who the Phillies were playing, but they ran out of pitchers, and they ended up putting Wilson Valdez, the shortstop, to pitch. I remember that. Oh my God, that was rough.
That's always fun watching position players pitch. You never know what's going to happen.
The Braves, and when they went in that 21 inning in 1984
against the Mets,
yeah, Bob Horner came in and pitched. He was the third baseman. They brought him in to pitch to close the game out. I mean, that's the way a baseball should be. If you got to run out of players, now you got to manager really manage, stuff like that. But
that was the game Rick Camp hit the home run, right?
Yeah, yep.
It probably hurts the fans that are there the most at the stadium, because when they're there and you got free baseball, there's like any sport, overtime in basketball, hockey. I mean, there's nothing like overtime or extra innings, and to shorten it for the fans that are there, that hurts the fans. You want the game to last when you're there. When you're at home watching TV, it's a little different. So I was just thinking now, imagine if the NBA went away from a 5-minute overtime to just 60 seconds. That would probably give each team a possession to 2 possessions just to make a shot or not, and just hope, because they want something at the buzzer. They just want that excitement.
First team to 7 wins, right? Something like that.
With even the play-in, we don't need these changes now. These leagues have been around. Baseball's been around over 100 years. The NBA's been around. They're coming up on their 75th anniversary. They don't need to be making these changes now.
Right. And Tim's exactly right. The Mariners did almost screw up the extra innings at home. That is very, very true. But, that's the Mariners. So there you go. What are you going to do with that? All right. I wanted to talk about the All-Star game tonight, but I think I'm going to save that for next week. So I'm going to let's skip over that, and we'll talk about the All-Star game next week. I want to do a little fill in the blank here. Obviously I got this idea from plenty of radio shows and stuff, but hey, so the first fill in the blank, let's start with Andrew. The Los Angeles Lakers are blank.
Are going to be in the playoffs. It might be through the play-in, although there is a nice little separation gap right now. But they will make the playoffs. I know we debated if they were even going to do it, but they've held on long enough. But they will make it. It might be a first-round exit. They've lost the home court advantage as of right now. But they also might be over the hill. Anthony Davis might have just reached his breaking point, and he might not ever return as the Anthony Davis of old from his New Orleans days. And then LeBron's only getting older. This injury could just, it's like with every other player, it starts to decline.
Right.
So, they had it going last year. They started off this year, but I think that they're going to be in the playoffs, but they're also done. They're not going to be in the finals.
All right, Felix, the Los Angeles Lakers are?
They might go to the semifinals. Depends on how LeBron's injury is. I don't know if they'll make the finals, depending on how hot the other team is. The other teams, on fire, like maybe the Nuggets, they just go off now that they got Aaron Gordon. There's only one AD on there, and there's only one LeBron, So I'm starting to turn the corner and maybe thinking it's the Nuggets here. But that being said, the Lakers, they can win it. It just depends how fast they can heal up. But they're definitely making the playoffs.
All right. Ray, the LA Lakers are?
Trash.
All right.
Nah, I didn't get that out because you know Wichita gonna be. You know he's probably watching Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie's probably watching.
Nah, I said they're not repeating as NBA champions.
All right, I agree. I say the Lakers are overrated. I think they're very overrated, overhyped, over just we're getting oversaturated with Lakers stuff, and you know these injuries are just showing that they do have holes in their lineup, and you know when your two anchors go down, if no one else can pick you up, well then then you definitely have a problem. You don't have a deep enough bench, if you ask me. You know, as Ray said a couple weeks ago, Kyle Kuzma's going to save you. No, Kyle Kuzma's not going to do anything.
Would they be overrated though if they were not injured right now?
Well,
no.
So it's hard to say overrated in my opinion. They're showing a lack of depth.
But if
they're the champs, you got to give them their due. I mean,
but if you're talking about right now, because they ain't got no. I mean, you got no LeBron James, you got no Anthony Davis. They're overrated.
They're bottom of a barrel team in the NBA right now. The only reason why they're even in the playoff hunt is because LeBron and AD were healthy at the beginning of the season to give them their 30 plus wins. But
now look, when before LeBron got injured, they were in second place behind the Utah Jazz.
Right
now they have dropped all the way to fifth.
Right,
I mean,
right.
And only by half a game. They're half a game above Portland right now.
Portland.
Yeah. At 31-19, Portland's at 30-19. And then you got Dallas sitting at number 7, 27-21. You know, the Lakers could, if they keep falling like they are, they can end up being in that, 10th bracket that play-in games.
Yeah, and then you know who they're playing? If they do slip to 7, you know who, if the season were to end right now and they were to slip to 7, you know who they're going to play?
Phoenix?
Golden State.
Yeah.
And Golden State could beat them.
Well, if everyone's healthy,
That's if Curry comes back.
Curry's back though. Do you see what he did the other night? What he did last night?
Nah, I didn't get to watch him.
He had 35 last night.
Well, you had to make up for the 50 that he didn't score against Toronto the other night.
Did you guys hear about what the owner of the Warriors said not to switch topics?
No.
Oh, they talking about trading Curry to Lakers?
No. Talking about him not signing the extension.
Yeah, no, I heard that.
So
I didn't read that. Wow.
Yeah. So he said he didn't want to sign it. So that being said, if he's out there, listen, Sixers, go get him. Give him Ben.
Anybody go
give him Ben. Give him
Ben. On that note, I have a feeling that he could end up back in Charlotte, going back home.
That wouldn't surprise me. If he does go to another team, though, he's not going to be that 30-point per game scorer anymore. He'll go to another system.
Those days are done,
Yeah.
And that would be interesting if he went back to Charlotte because they got a young nucleus over there.
Yeah, if he goes to Charlotte, I mean that set the fans going into the building, getting that franchise back up, selling that crowd because it's just him. I mean, a hometown product,
Get some of that Jordan money,
Yeah.
To be honest, if I'm Curry and I'm going to Charlotte, you got to cut me a piece of that ownership out. There's no way I'm going to Charlotte just to go to Charlotte, even though I'm from there.
I mean,
I know that, but I mean, think about what he's worth on the open market.
Just saying about Jordan though. Jordan, he's getting old. He's getting older, so he's going to have to leave that franchise to somebody. Not his kids. His kids said he don't want him. He said once he gets done, his kids does not want the franchise. So
he hasn't really done much with that. He didn't do anything with the Wizards. He didn't do anything with the Hornets.
I love that line he said. If you're going to ask me for change, you can ask me if I want fries with that. Oh, my God. Remember that? Oh, my God.
Well, LeBron's going to be too busy touting the new Space Jam movie, which if you saw the trailer, looks absolutely horrific.
It looks horrible.
It looks so bad. So bad. Oh, my God. But
see, if you give me don't get me started with LeBron here. LeBron is chasing Jordan everything.
Everywhere.
Everything. He's got a part ownership of the Red Sox now. Baseball team. He don't know nothing about baseball, but he's got part ownership of the Boston Red Sox.
He's a diehard Yankee fan.
Yeah, but he got into Boston ownership.
That being said, what does Magic know about baseball? He owns the Dodgers. What does he know?
right.
Yeah, but see, Magic.
I mean, I'll give it to Mahomes. Mahomes' dad pitched in baseball, so I get it. He owns a piece of the the Orioles. Not big, but enough to hey, we got money coming in whenever.
Right.
But what does Magic now? No,
Magic-
he just brought a chip back.
Magic, the Prince of LA. I mean, that's part of it.
Magic knows marketing, but what Magic does to the Dodgers, he leaves it to the baseball guys. He hired a bunch of baseball guys to run the team. All he's doing is just cutting the checks and going through, the books. That's all he's doing.
He took a lot of losses.
Oh
yeah.
He took a lot of losses for being the guy that won so much and demands excellence.
Yep.
He took a lot of losses with LA. So you got to give him his due because he kept the guys in place, kept cutting the check for Kershaw and everyone else.
Yep.
Kept everything in place. And then look, now they won.
Yep.
Right. Exactly. Wow. Well, that was a tangent. That was cool. I like that. Okay. Well, obviously the Darnold trade today definitely makes the top 3 draft choices a discussion and a half. So, Andrew, if you were running the NFL draft, who are the top 3 draft choices?
I got Lawrence, Wilson, and then Mac Jones.
Mac Jones going 3rd. All right, Ray, who do you got?
I got Lawrence, and I got Justin Fields, and then I got Jalen Waddle, wide receiver.
Ooh. So you think Frisco, the whole quarterback thing is a bluff, and you think they're going to take the receiver?
Yep.
Wow, interesting. And you think the kid from BYU is very overrated, obviously.
Yep.
Okay, Felix, who do you got? Who's your top 3?
You got Lawrence, you have Zach Wilson, and then I'm a little stumped with the 49ers. I'm thinking they either want Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase. I don't think they're going to go after a quarterback. I think they went up to get a receiver because they know he would have never fell to them down at, what is it?
There were 12.
12,
right?
yeah, 12. Yeah. So, again, but then again, I don't see the way Shanahan plays, the way he was with the Falcons and the Redskins or Washington, whatever. You need that stud receiver or that stud tight end.
Right.
I mean, they have that tight end right now, but they're all running double sets now, 2 tight end sets.
Right.
So they have Kittle over there, him and Pitts. That would be pretty sick.
That would be, but I mean, it's been unheard. I've never seen a tight end drafted that high. I mean, a number 3 pick. I know Pitts is the real deal, but to draft him at number 3, I mean, wow.
Local kid went to Archbishop Wood High School. But again, I don't see a team moving up to get a tight end unless he's that good. But then again, when he was in Atlanta, he had Julio.
Right.
Jamar Chase, they're comparing him to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love Chase. The only thing that separates him is the height difference. I mean, Chase is still only 6 feet, and I love Chase. If he slips to Miami and Miami ends up teaming him up with Tua, and that would be phenomenal. But I'm a little concerned about Chase's height in this league.
Well, I mean, it's definitely good to have a tall wide receiver, but some of these smaller guys, if they can outrun you, I mean, look at Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is, what is he, 5'10", maybe Deshaun. 6 feet. Deshaun Jackson. Who's the other kid? The kid from Tampa. Not Evans. Evans is big. The other Goodwin's smaller. Yeah. So that type of thing could be. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I mean, I definitely think Trevor Lawrence is going 1. I mean, I know the Jets are in love with the kid with BYU, but I would take Fields from Ohio State if you ask me. And the 3rd pick, Frisco, I think it's a smokescreen too, so they could definitely take one of the receivers for sure. And Atlanta just said today that they're putting their number 4 pick on the market, so that's going to be interesting to see if someone trades up to that. Yeah, that rumor came out today, so that's going to be interesting.
Probably because they know they can't get Pitts.
Right. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And there's also been talk about, who's going to be Matt Ryan's successor. There's been some talk about that too. So it'll be interesting.
I mean, everything I heard up here is that they are in love with Fields, but
right.
Again, they haven't had a running quarterback since Vic. So.
Right. Exactly. Well, if Fields is there as 4, I could see them taking Fields. That's for sure. Yeah. All right, so we mentioned Deshaun Watson before. So what will he be the 2021 season? The bench? Is he playing? Is he traded? Ray, you talked a little before, so why don't you expound about that?
Well, Deshaun Watson, I say he will be in jail.
Damn.
Because I'm gonna tell you like this.
Wow.
But basically, I had two options. I had him in jail or sitting out the whole season because right now nobody's going to trade for him because all these allegations out. Like I said, we don't know if these allegations are hoax or real. We won't even know that until after get into courts and stuff like that, and the grand jury and stuff like that. So if they do turn out real charges, he could be sitting in jail. I mean, but like I said, nobody's going to take him right now because all these allegations come out. Now, these allegations could be smokescreen set out by the Houston Texans, trying to keep him in Houston.
No, I think that's a.
But like I said, though,
if you do that, you're making your franchise look bad and your quarterback look bad, and
and all the media attention that's going to be in that locker room that doesn't accomplish much.
So basically, I had two things: either he's going to go to jail or he's going to be sitting out. So.
I like that. You're like in jail. That was pretty. I like that. That was good. All right, Felix, where's he going to be?
So, if he's got all these allegations, I mean, first thing comes to mind is I'm going to get sued. I better show up and play. The only way I'm going to show up and play is I put on a Texans uniform. So that's where he's probably going to be at, in the Texans uniform, getting sacked.
Interesting. All right, Andrew, what about you?
I mean, listen, no charges have been pressed yet. As of this very moment, he's still a Texans starting quarterback. That could all change tomorrow, but I don't. As of right now, I still see him starting for the Texans. I think that enough damage has been done that another team's not going to touch him right now, but I don't see him sitting out the year unless charges do get pressed and he ends up behind bars. But if not, I don't see him just sitting out the year.
Let me ask you guys this. Knowing that someone who had charges pressed on him and then dropped, the Patriots owner Robert Kraft in the same kind of situation about a year or two ago.
Right.
Maybe they'll make the trade for him and Kraft will get him out like he got himself out from that massage parlor incident.
Yeah.
You guys remember that?
Patriots have a way of going after those guys.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, Kraft got out of it because he turned on everybody. He worked out a deal. That's how he got out of it.
Right, but I'm sure he cut a check. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure he could. So if that's what it takes for him to get Watson, I'm sure he's all about it.
Kraft's situation was different, though. It wasn't anywhere. Kraft just got busted for going into those massage parlors. This is allegation after allegation. What's anyone know the count? I personally don't.
It's 21 right now.
So
wow.
And they're talking about adding about 3 more.
Yeah, and then what's it? A week? Has it been a full week?
Not yet.
No,
not yet. So they're gonna keep coming, and like everyone has said, we don't know what's real, what's not. If any of them are real, if all of them are real, no one knows.
I mean, you got 21 people coming out. That's kind of far fetched. I mean, 21.
Where have they been all this time? That's my whole thing with all of this.
But just realize this. We're just. I don't mean to interrupt, but just think about this. If they're found lying, I'm sorry, I lied, whatever, and his name's tainted, and everyone knows he just got paid.
Yeah,
he just got paid.
Yeah,
where was this at before he got paid?
Because
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, listen, if he did it, it is what it is. Do what you have to do. But where were they before he got paid?
But I understand. Nobody. I understand it was like 3 or 4, but you got 21 and maybe 24, 25, 26 coming up. You got 26 people.
There's some truth to something. To what extent, no one knows just yet. But there's some truth to something. I mean,
you have to see how they know each other. Maybe one person said, "Oh, he got paid. Let me get in on this. Let me get in on that." I mean, they probably saw that Harden left, and now they're all jumping on his wagon. You know what I mean? Who knows what these massage parlors are? Harden loved the strip joint. You know what I mean? Now that he's not in town, someone's got to get paid.
Yeah.
That is, the whole thing is crazy if you ask me. And it's just like, 21 charges like this. I don't think he's going to end up in jail, but I think he's going to end up suspended at least a half a season.
Not with the NFL. Not until he's charged. Not with allegations.
I don't know.
NFL will not suspend you until they get charges filed because
there hasn't been a single charge.
I know, but they're not going. They're not going to suspend them until they get the charges filed on them.
Right.
That's the NFL.
But think about what happened. Think about what happened with Ray Rice. He didn't get charges.
No,
that was on video. That was on video.
It doesn't matter. There were no charges.
But that was a completely different set of circumstances. That was on video of him punching.
We're talking about charges right now.
Yeah,
agreed. But
so that being said, if there are no charges, how are you going to suspend somebody?
Because that was right now with right now that was evidence with Ray Rice. That was 100%.
He admitted guilt. They said, remember, at first they were just going to give him a warning or something, or 2 games, something like that. And then they asked him, and he said, "Yeah, I did it." And that's when the big punishment went down.
Right.
You're right. You know what? It might have dragged out longer. He might have even been able to play that season and had that gone on longer. Maybe if Watson comes out and says, "Yeah, I did it. I did all 21," is he suspended?
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt, he's gone.
That contract's done.
Yeah. So there's a difference right there. Ray Rice admitted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's disturbing how this thing has gotten out of hand. But you know what? If it's all a money hunt, then good for him. But I think one of these charges will stick, unfortunately, and it's just really sad. All right.
I think they'll stick, and it'll be a matter of to what extent that one will, and all the others.
All right. I want to do one more question here, and then we're going to cut the show a little shorter tonight because I do want to watch a championship game. So that is tip-offs at 9:20. At this point in the NBA season, who's the NBA MVP right now? Who would you say is the MVP right now? Ray.
James Harden.
Okay, why James Harden?
Because he leads the league in assists. He's done changed his game around. He's gone from ball hogger to getting other people the ball, and he's getting his points still, but he's helping his team out by passing the ball around. He's becoming an all-around player now.
It is interesting how his game has changed, and I would agree with that because the other night he was hurt, Kyrie was playing, and they lost. But when he plays and Kyrie's out, they win. So it's definitely a valid choice. Andrew, MVP. Who's the NBA MVP right now? Jokic?
Yeah.
Okay, why Jokic?
I mean, he's almost averaging a triple-double as a 7-footer. His numbers are just absolutely through the roof. You take him off the Nuggets, what happens to that team?
No, they go down.
You take Harden off the Nets. I mean, listen, what Harden's been doing, how he transformed from the most selfish player in the NBA to one of the most selfless has been remarkable. However, you still take him off that team, they're still pretty stacked. You take Jokic off of Denver, he's way more valuable to the Nuggets than Harden is to the Nets today. And I think Jokic has had a season like no one else in the NBA this year.
All right, Felix, what about you?
If you asked me a month ago, it was Embiid. In my eyes, it's definitely not Harden because his game will change again once Durant gets back. And it just does. He won't do the assists, or he'll do. His game is so in flux right now because he doesn't know who he's playing with night in and night out. We're just waiting on Durant, to be honest with you. That's Durant's team, I hope Embiid comes back. He did deserve it. He was one of the best big men before he got hurt, but right now it's probably Jokic.
The NBA is going to be a lot more interesting than people think with all these little injuries here and there. I mean, I don't know if these players are as hurt as badly as they say, and they're just taking time before the playoffs. But it's definitely going to be fun to watch. Although I heard an interesting story the other day. I forgot who told it, but basically they were trying to watch NBA basketball, and how the walking rule has basically been like ignored. That if you see what the walking rule is in the book and what they actually let go, I mean, it makes the NBA hard to watch at times. I mean, these guys they'll get the ball inbounds, they'll take 2 steps, and then they'll start dribbling. And they're not calling traveling or anything like that, you know? So to me, yeah, I mean, Harden's assisting the hell out of the ball. Jokic is leading the team, but it's hard to pick an MVP sometimes when the rules aren't being followed. I mean, the Euro step, I mean, come on. You know, it's
in the league selecting the MVP based on marketability, because there's zero marketability around Jokic, but there's there's a ton around Harden. Like I was thinking about today
until they win.
Until that, but Denver's not winning, and even then, how marketable is Jokic? I mean, unfortunately, I mean even Dirk, who might have been the most marketable European, he was not known for endorsements. I'm sure Jokic has some sort of local endorsement, but he has no national endorsement whatsoever. And you know, is he the face of the NBA right now?
No.
Is he going to be? No. And it's a lot of it is marketability, and they'll sell a lot more James Harden merchandise than they will.
Yep.
You know, now you saying that, Zion has a shot.
It depends on how far the Pelicans get. They still have Ingram.
Right. But he's putting up numbers, man.
So is Randall. So is Randall. Right. But
what about the kid from Dallas?
Luka, and he has a ton of marketability right now.
Yeah.
Luka is huge.
Luka is huge. Yeah, he's good.
You know, and he's top 5 in points and assists.
You know, I like Trae Young coming out of Oklahoma and then Dallas took him. I'm like, oh my God, they're going back to shooting, and then they do that trade.
Yeah.
But at first I thought that wasn't a good trade, but then now I look back, I'm like, oh my God.
It's going to be Luka's league within the next 3 years.
I mean, the kid could play. The kid could play. You know.
Yeah.
He's definitely exciting to watch.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Let's just go to our last chance to bring it. I want to start with Ray first. And Ray, actually, we talked about this off air. Talk about Coach Williams, Roy Williams from Carolina, his star career, retired this week. And actually, Carolina announced about Hubert Davis taking over. So just talk about Coach Williams and talk about the program where it's going to be with Hubert in charge.
Okay. Well, I got one instance tidbit that everybody probably doesn't know. They don't talk about it as much, but Dean Smith did not recruit Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was recruited by Roy Williams.
Wow.
And that's when his name was Mike Jordan, not Michael Jordan, Mike Jordan. And I'm gonna tell you how Roy Williams got him away from North Carolina State. He didn't recruit him through Michael Jordan. He recruited him through his dad. He went to his dad. Him and his dad used to play pool all the time. Then Michael started picking up the pool game, and they started getting competitive. Michael then seen how competitive Roy Williams was. It just turned into a competitive stuff, and like that, Roy Williams put a bet on with his dad. He said by the time he gets finished talking to him within his senior year, he'll be coming to North Carolina. His dad didn't believe him, and that's what happened. His dad his dad was in love with Roy Williams. He did not like the North Carolina State program head coach. He fell in love with Roy Williams, and that's what Roy Williams does. He doesn't recruit when he goes to the people's houses. He doesn't tell them what the players what they want to hear. He tells the players what they don't want to hear. You're not going to come here. You're not going to be a starter. That's point blank. He tells them straight out. He says, I don't know who's starting. Everybody's going to come here. You're going to get a fresh start. And that's the way Roy Williams did. He took your superstar player, and he treated him just like he treated the managers of the basketball team. And he fell asleep with Dean Smith. Dean Smith taught him a lot of stuff. He went to Kansas and stuff like that. Now, Hubert Davis coming in. They're keeping it within the family. Hubert Davis, nobody knows about, but Hubert Davis does have 9 years coaching experience. Not college coaching, but a JV coach. UNC is the only college still has a JV team. And that's where their assistant coaches, their top assistant coaches actually go and learn how to be a coach by coaching the JV team. And that's what Hubert Davis did for the last 9 years. He coached the JV team. JV team in the last 9 years had a pretty good scoring against all these All-Americans that went to like the Hargrove Military Academies. That's who the JV team plays against. Plays against North Carolina State used to have a JV team, but they have an intramural team. They play against North Carolina State people. I mean, it's these people they don't cannot make the basketball team. They want to play basketball, and that's what North Carolina did. And that's what Hubert Davis did. Hubert Davis has got a smart IQ, and he's a nephew of Walter Davis, one of the Carolina's greatest, one of the top Carolina greatest basketball players. So keep it in the family. Hubert Davis is going to be smart. He's gonna continue, and he's gonna move on. But also, one thing about this hire by Hubert Davis, this is the first black coach ever in the North Carolina history to be a head coach in the South, and I like that because it shows that diversity. It shows that they're not going after everybody. When Roy Williams retired, everybody thought they were going to go get Wes Miller from UNC Greensboro. He's a Carolina guy too, but I like the hire because Hubert Davis has been under Roy Williams for 9 years. He knows Carolina basketball, but actually Hubert Davis has been around North Carolina basketball when he was growing up, seeing his uncle play there, Walter Davis. So I think that's a great hire, and I appreciate the way North Carolina handled it, and he actually gave him the chance.
No, and that's true, and it's funny, everyone has always been critical of Roy Williams, but he has more rings than Dean Smith did, Yep. And that's the crazy part about it.
But the thing about Roy Williams, he never thought of himself above Dean Smith. He does not. When he talks about Dean Smith, he does not call him Dean Smith. He calls him Coach Williams. He calls him Coach Smith. He never once called him Dean in anything. He has always been Coach Williams, Coach Smith. His high school coach. He's the one that told him to go to North Carolina. He went 5 years. He was at Owens High School up in Asheville, North Carolina, being a high school coach from 1973 to 1978. He quit that job. He getting paid I think he said $15, $30 an hour to be a basketball coach. He quit that job. He went to North Carolina because he wanted to learn under Dean Smith. You know what Roy Williams did his first 4 years at North Carolina? He went around and take the basketball calendars to the local stores, selling them to the local vendors. That's how he got his money. He did not get, because when he first came, he was not assistant coach. He didn't get paid as assistant coach. He couldn't be on the court as assistant coach. But he learned, he watched films, he watched some of the practice on the stands, but that's how he got in there. When Larry Brown decided to take the Kansas job, and when he took Danny Manning with him, they had to open the spot. Roy Williams got that spot. Then Roy Williams, he coached the JV team. That's how he got his start as coaching. He coached the JV team at UNC. He coached for 10 years at UNC as a JV coach. Then Dean Smith said Kansas needed an opening. Frederick, the athletic director at Kansas at the time, calls Dean Smith and says, "Hey, you got a coach on your bench that are ready to be a head coach." And that's how Roy Williams got that Kansas job. It was like an inside job because Dean Smith graduated from Kansas,
right?
So he has that Kansas connection. So when Roy went there, that was just a step through. But that he went back to Asheville before Matt Doherty took over the team after Guthridge left.
Right.
Well, they went to Roy Williams first. Roy Williams actually turned Dean Smith down the first time.
Wow.
It won't end until 2003 when Dean Smith actually called him back and said, "Hey, can you come? We want you here." And he couldn't. He said he couldn't turn him down twice, so that's why he came. But I mean, Roy Williams has always been an ambassador to North Carolina. Even though he was at Kansas, he still gave the money to the university and academic scholarships for the underprivileged kids that couldn't go and get a real scholarship. They have what you call a covenant scholarship. It's for the least unfortunate people in the state of North Carolina to get a college degree. And that's what he did. Before he left, he gave $4.5 million a donation to that covenant scholarship.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's some of that stuff I never knew. Wow, very cool. Thank you for sharing all that with Coach Williams, and he definitely will be missed as a coach. All right, Andrew, what's your last chance?
I'm going to stick with the North Carolina theme, but jump topics a little bit. I don't know if you guys have heard that IMDb is releasing a documentary on, and you mentioned James Jordan before, about James Jordan's murder, but it's about the perspective from the other side from the people who were accused of the murder. And I just think it's being done in such poor taste. This is not something that should be released to the public. This is not something that Michael Jordan and his family and his kids, James Jordan's grandkids, great grandkids probably at this point, they should not have to watch this. This is speculation. This is coming from 1993 at this point, was what, about 27 years ago?
Right, something like that, yeah.
This does not need to be made. This does not need to be told. If there is, for some reason, some new evidence that maybe brings to light that one of these guys is innocent, which they were both guilty. What this story is trying to pin is that the department down in North Carolina tried to pin one against the other, threatening them both with the death penalty, and tried to get them both to point fingers. And that's how they solved this case too quick, is what they were saying. From what I read, is that they just wanted to put this case under wraps due to Jordan's fame, and America wanted an answer quick. They put these kids in a cell, said, hey, the other one is saying you did it, the other one's saying you did it, you're both facing the death penalty, and whoever spoke first is actually up for parole, and actually was up for parole and is up for release in 3 years. And this is what this IMDb documentary is going to be examining. And I think it's just the first thing I thought of was, how can Michael Jordan have to watch this? Forget Michael Jordan.
Poor taste.
You're right. He's a person. Forget everything else. He's a person. He has a new wife now. He has kids. I'm not sure if his kids have kids, and if they don't, then I'm mistaken on the grandkids part. But
no, his kids don't have kids yet.
So it ends with his James Jordan's grandkids having to watch this. It's just, it made me sick to read this, that this is coming out.
Wow, yeah, that's sad, man. I definitely do not want to see that. There's no reason for that whatsoever. All right, Felix, what you got?
I'm on a lighter note. Phillies are 3-0. Thank the Mets for not signing Real Muto. What a great signing by the Phillies. Oh, my God. Did you see that play on the second game where he blocked the plate legally? Oh, man. That's why he's worth the $100 million. Thank you.
Can I do one more? Can I bring up one more real quick to get all three of your guys' take?
Sure.
How much from the Cincinnati Reds bench clearing brawl the other day? Whose fault was that?
I don't know.
These got suspended, right? What was his name?
Castellanos got suspended.
He's the one who got hit by the pitch.
Yeah.
So
they
reacted.
Yeah,
he reacted. If he didn't do nothing, then the pitcher would have got.
The best though, didn't he throw the ball back at the pitcher?
Yeah,
something like that.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
The only thing about the whole deal is you're always going to get the second person. You're not going to get that first person. It's going to get the retaliation. And that's what the problem is when he threw that baseball back at him. That's the retaliation part, and that's what they get him for. And that's why he got the expense.
Exactly. No, I think baseball fights are just sometimes ridiculous. It's just about stupid bravado and, he said, yeah, what's up? Like a home plate. And that's no reason to fight. It's just playing the game, man. Relax. These guys got to calm down sometimes.
Remember, we're still in a pandemic.
I know, exactly.
Where was the social distancing with that brawl?
Exactly. I know. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Well, guys, thank you. You guys were all bringing it tonight. This was awesome. This is up, and the tip-off is just about now. So let's sign off here. Let's go watch some college basketball and see who wins this thing. We'll see everybody next week. We're out.
3-0, baby. 3-0. 3-0.